Deuces Wild motherfuckers!
Back at ya, back at ya. We've been battling through some technical difficulties. Leslie and Papa Manuele had sent me some new stuff for the laptop here. Evidently, we were having some problems on some of the other broadcasts, not on this one right here. And finally was able to get it up and running. And we just had a little glitch just now, but we're good.
Well, here we are. I just saw the beer emoji float across. I guess it was Linda who said it. And Linda, I'm going to start this show off right to say salud a todos, because I tried to pour myself a drink of Clase Azul. Now,
Clase Azul, ring the bell, bing!
The bell is right here. And so we of course, hold on. I got to hold it here.
There you go.
We will ring the bell, but they're not a title sponsor. But Thrill, we're hoping that they will be one day. So, salud a todos. Happy March the 11th.
Yes. Salud. One thing about Clase Azul, if you can get him as a sponsor, you're definitely going to save a lot of money on tequila because it is expensive stuff. But Ted was saying that when you came on, you would hola and all that. His dogs started going crazy. So you got more than one audience in the Dastic house.
Ted, I'm glad we can bring the energy each and every single show, as we like to say on the Daily Hustle every morning. When you're juiceful, you're useful. And when you're juiceless, you're fucking useless.
The Daily Hustle. Sorry, I have not turned into one of those yet. Sorry.
Well, it's all kind of the same fucking thing. We come on here, we talk shop, we talk ball, we talk life. I get to go on little rants every now and again. And
yep.
Awesome way to communicate with everybody. So how was your week, man?
Man, pretty good. Believe it or not, the physical therapist knocked me down from 5 days a week to 3 days a week. So been having a little break in between to let the knee heal up and try to get some of this swelling out the way. That's the big problem, is getting the swelling. As soon as the swelling goes away for a little bit, I mean, I can like run all over the place, no problems. When the swelling comes back, I gotta like watch out what I'm doing. So one of the things.
So Thrill, we're 2 days away from your birthday, as Josh.
Oh, look at you. You've been doing your homework.
Any big plans?
We are going to go to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. Josh knows because I've told him a lot. I'm a big fan of consistency, and man, you go to Ruth's, you get a great steak, get a great atmosphere, all that sort of stuff. And it's the same thing all the time. I love it. It's my favorite steakhouse to go to. Matter of fact, believe it or not, I am actually a franchisee. I had a part in the Toronto store and also the San Antonio store, and we sold the Toronto one. We still got the San Antonio one, so I'm actually part of a franchisee of Ruth's Chris.
What is your standard order at Ruth's Chris?
Oh, I'm a ribeye guy. I love ribeyes. Trey and the rest of the gang crushes the filet, but I'm the ribeye guy. And then Trey here lately, he's been doing the surf and turf, so he brings out the filet with a friggin' lobster tail and just annihilates. So,
well, Thrill, you know as well as I do, as you get older, your taste gets a little more expensive.
Yeah. That's like you with Clase Azul right there. A little bit more expensive. So,
well, let's not forget our title sponsor, Bet Online. Speaking of franchises and operations, the #1 online gambling destination for all the latest news, scores, odds, predictions. Go to Bet Online. You got MLB firing, spring training games, regular season about to start, NHL firing, NBA firing, college hoops. March Madness is upon us at Bet Online. And if you're a degenerate like I am and you want to play some blackjack, you want to play some poker, go to their online casino. I'm pretty sure you could put in the promo code BLEAV, capital BLEAV for 50% off your first deposit. And if you can't, hey, it's worth the shot.
There you go.
Bet online. The game starts here.
Here. The game starts here. And, you and I were talking about it. Spring training, like you said, is upon us. Actually, believe it or not, let's look at it this way. We are literally 2 weeks away from, the first ball game, regular season. So, they started making first round of cuts. I know, you were big into the Bryce Eldridge camp. He got sent down. And the reason being, we completely understand it, me and you, is, he wasn't getting the kind of at-bats he needed to in Major League camp. It was just an exposure thing for him. And, he got 11 at-bats. And, when you're a young player, you need that at-bats every day kind of thing. So they sent him down. They sent Luciano down. They sent a few other guys out. And, we got still some competition for jobs. I know that there was an article on the computer today about Eric Miller being the only left-hander right now in the bullpen. So, there should be some guys from the left side that should be trying to compete for a job.
So, Thrill, let's go back to Bryce Eldridge for a second, because I am 100% guilty for overreacting after the 450-foot homer.
Hey,
and then say that
you just liked it, baby. You just liked it. I get it.
I don't know, man. I root for the stories, right? And that would have been a good story if he were to take spring training by storm and then be the Giants' first baseman come opening day.
Yeah.
Instead, he proceeded to strike out like 8 of his next 12 at bats.
Yeah. And hey, look, we all get it. You want them to show up in spring training and set the world on fire and, make the team coming out of spring training. But, in all actuality, this is a great thing for him. He gets a chance to go down, get him a bunch of quality at bats. And then also, he was working with JT Snow there at first base. I know I'm going to be with him probably end of April, early May, somewhere up in there, and I'll work with him again. So, it was good stuff.
So I have a question. He got sent down. Is he going to start in Sacramento?
You know what? That's a great question. I know he, was tearing up A ball. He went to Double A, and he was doing okay, but he wasn't tearing the cover off the ball. And then they bumped him up to Triple A to give him a look-see at the end of the year. So I don't know whether he's going to Sacramento or going back to Richmond. But I can just tell you this right now. Both Sacramento and Richmond have natural grass infields. Richmond is a little tougher than Sacramento. So if you can catch a ball on Richmond's infield, you can play in the major league. So I'm just saying that, throwing it out there.
Where would you like to see him start?
Personally, just for my own shits and giggles, I'd like to see him start at Richmond because that's going to be the first trip that I make to the minor league. So I'd like to see him right out the gate, and that would be really good instead of, having to strap one on and fly to Sacramento.
So speaking of Sacramento, the A's are obviously going to be playing there this season, along with the River Cats. So when the A's are on the road, the River Cats will play their home games. They've figured out this schedule. Do you think this will impact the Giants AAA team at all?
The thing that I even answered this question not too long ago. The thing that I'm thinking that is going to be probably the most worrisome for me is the fact that the field's not going to get a chance to come back. You're going to have somebody on it every day. So when Oakland leaves town, Sacramento is going to be in town. Whereas during the regular season, Sacramento would leave, and you got a week in there of the grass growing and getting back healthy again, and the grounds crew kind of being able to work on it. Now that's not going to be the case. You can have somebody on it every day, and so I want to make sure that field kind of holds up.
Yeah, there's going to be some significant upgrades to the stadium. So I think the AAA players will benefit from that. I'm sure they're excited about whatever it is. Dude, back in the day, Sacramento actually had the worst fucking batter's eye in minor league baseball. And if there was a lefty early in the game for the first 2 innings, you couldn't see the ball.
Right.
It was dangerous.
Right.
And I think they've since fixed that. I'm not positive, but I remember when I was there with the Bananas, I'm like, oh, okay, this looks obviously different. This is 25 years ago when it was originally built, and I played there a long time ago.
No, I think that they got that situation squared away. EB, I think that's better. The one thing that I do know that they're going to build the A's a clubhouse. Now, I don't know if it's down the right field line, if it's in left field, wherever it's going to be. They're building the A's a major league clubhouse. And if I had to guess, they're going to build the visiting team a major league clubhouse too as well. So when the A's do wind up leaving and going to Vegas, I'd imagine the River Cats will inherit a major league clubhouse.
Okay, so the next topic, the A's are going to be playing in Sacramento, yet they're going to have a Las Vegas patch on one sleeve, along with a Sacramento patch on the other. They're not going to be called the Sacramento A's. They're not going to be called the Las Vegas A's. They're just going to represent both cities on the arm, and they're just going to be known as the A's. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah. I think it's bullshit. You're going to Vegas. Why not call them the Vegas A's? Whatever. I mean, that's like the Washington Football Club. That's bullshit. Give them a freaking name, all right? They were the Redskins for forever, but we had to bow into all that bullshit. Now you can't call them the Redskins. You can't call Cleveland, the Indians or the Tribe no more. Even though they freaking had a major league movie made about it. But so it's one of them things. I get tired of listening to all that bullshit. Just fucking call them what they are. Matter of fact, I still call Cleveland the Indians still today, so I don't care.
Well, here's the thing. There's a large contingency of Native Americans that are pissed that they changed the name from the Indians to the Guardians. There's also a huge contingency that are very upset about the Redskins becoming the Commanders. If anything, I always will relate it back to this. I'm an Irish immigrant, right? I'm a great grandson of Irish immigrants, and Notre Dame's mascot is the Fighting Irish. I take great pride in that. If they ever change that, I would be fucking livid.
And I totally agree with you. And then that was another thing too. Because you had the Tribe and because you had the Redskins and stuff like that, Native Americans were always brought into the conversation every time you talk about it. So it was like, hey, when you keep reminding people, I'm not going away, that kind of thing. Now, you got put on the back burner.
Now it's like they've been canceled.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Like we want to completely cancel the Native Americans, which is bullshit. Yeah, they're a huge part of this country. I mean, they're first inhabitants of this country, as far as I know. So here we are, in what I always believed to be a tribute to our Native Americans. Now this is getting taken away. Look, this is a very hot button topic. It always has been, always will be. I think, forever, for our lifetimes. Stanford, way back in the day, was one of the first ones to change. They used to be the Stanford Indians. Yeah. And then Stanford changed from the Stanford Indians to the Stanford Cardinal, but not the bird like the St. Louis Cardinals thrill. Yeah. Cardinal just as in the color. If that's not the biggest pussy move that I've ever fucking seen, I
That
don't know
is
what is.
that's bad right there. That's bad, you know. But hey, it's the culture that we live in now. Sometimes I gotta check myself sometimes. So
And
anyway,
Josh says this. He's got a really good point. And by the way, if you're watching live right now on No Filter Network, thank you. If you're listening on Apple or Spotify, we do this every Tuesday live, 6:05 p.m. Pacific time. And Josh says, why are the Braves still okay? That's a great point, Thrill.
that is a great point. For me personally, you did away with Chief Nakahoma. I thought that was a great name.
Perfect.
He was awesome. And then for years and years and years, when well, and still till this day, not only them but Florida State. I mean, well, why can you do that? But yeah, you can't call Cleveland, the Indians of the tribe. I don't get it. So, like I said, the culture that we have today, and some of the stuff I got to check myself on now. It ain't worth it for me. Sorry.
No, I don't think so. All right, so we might as well go from one hot button topic to the other.
Yeah, let's go. Let's do it.
Steroids. So Mo Vaughn came out, former American League Most Valuable Player. You and I have talked about him a lot.
Yeah.
And he admitted to using PEDs during his MLB career. It's interesting because, here he is. He's 57 years old, and he was talking about using HGH in his knee, and he was going to do whatever he could do to keep it healthy. He was named in the Mitchell report, but there's so many of these other guys, I think, at some point are going to come out and talk about, their use or whatever. I don't know. Does this change your opinion of Mo Vaughn at all?
No, not at all. Because back in the day, I mean, like Mo's talking about, I mean, he had a problem with his knee. He needed to freaking do something to get out on the field and earn some cash for his family. Plus, on top of that, Mo Vaughn could flat out freaking hit.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's one of those things. But I have a feeling that sooner or later there's going to be, one or two or three or four or some more guys that are going to be coming out, or guys that, they're kind of like me, even though, I didn't do any of that stuff. You just start having your body breakdown, and you got to replace the parts that are freaking creaking and having issues. So, but, everybody knew in our era who was doing it. I mean, you would be stupid not to know it. And, to turn a blind eye like MLB did, the big reason that they did it was, I mean, the home runs were up, the offensive numbers were up and all that sort of stuff. But, it is what it is. But, for Mo coming out there and saying it, hey, tip of the cap to you, Mo. Nice job.
So I'm like you, right? Never touched performance enhancing drugs in my entire career. Now,
Yeah,
I
because
did
you're a
everything.
freaking human greenie anyway.
Well, exactly. But I did everything in my power to keep up with the Joneses. So I, loading up on creatine, lift that. And I got to be honest too, Throw. The reason why I never touched performance enhancing drugs, steroids, whatever, was, dude, I didn't feel like I needed to get bigger. I didn't feel like I needed to get faster. I felt like I needed to lay off the fucking 2-2 curveball in the dirt. And I didn't think steroids was going to help me with that.
I think we all needed to lay off of that pitch, but hey, look, you put it perfectly right there. I mean, it's like, you know, Josh knows because we had big talks about this, but my dad was always hey, outthink them and outwork them. Don't cheat, don't cut the corners and all that sort of stuff. So that was my theory on things. And you and I are kind of the same mentality when it comes to that. But look, some of those guys did it. I know who was doing it. What am I going to say? Back then, believe it or not, it wasn't illegal.
Yeah.
Believe it or not. I
Well,
mean,
it wasn't. It was not against the rules within Major League Baseball. Now, technically,
correct.
you can make
It
the argument
wasn't.
it
It
was
wasn't technically
illegal.
until freaking Conseco came out with the book. Other
Correct.
than that, you could do it.
It's interesting, man, because there's obviously steroid users already in the Hall of Fame, and yet
Without a shadow of a doubt.
here we are with Barry Bonds, and I just read an article the other day saying that there's a potential rule that's going to be implemented that would basically eliminate Bonds and Clemens from ever getting into the Hall of Fame. What a crock of shit, man.
You know, here's the way I look at it. All right, and we could go on about this for forever, but the way I look at it is, all right, if he did it, he did it, he did it, whatever. You still got to hit the fucking ball, and you still got to throw the ball over the freaking white plate. It's the hardest thing in sports to do. So why keep penalizing some of the best ever? And in the meantime, you're letting others into the Hall of Fame that are users or admitted users, because Big Poppy even admitted that he used, but then he sucked up to the Boston media, so they let him in the Hall of Fame. You know?
Yeah, it's disturbing, man. It really is. I read that the other day and I couldn't help but throw up in my mouth. I was fucking disgusted.
All right, so here's one for you. All right, here's one for you, because you and I both played the sport. We both know how freaking tough it is. How this shows you how good Barry Bonds was. How do you go up there, get walked 4 times in a row, 5 times in a row, 6 times in a row, whatever the shit he got walked, right? And you see one pitch to hit and whack, he deposited it. You know how hard that is to do?
Mhm.
So, hey, look, I just sit there and shake my head. Between the Cooperstown committee, they got way too many meatheads on there voting for that. It should never be 400 sports writers. There's not 400 sports writers that cover the game of baseball. That's first off. All right. Second off is, like I said, if you're gonna freaking make a rule against a Barry Bonds or a Roger Clemens or a Mark McGwire or whatever, well, you better enforce it with the big poppies of the world that are admitting it.
So Barry was on a podcast the other day and they asked him if he could hit 100-mile-per-hour fastball today. And he
Oh,
goes,
God Almighty!
like,
Without a shadow of a doubt.
that's exactly what he said. And he said, as so long as I could catch a ball, I could hit it. And he
Yeah.
always talked about catching the baseball with his bat. And it's one of those things where I haven't heard anybody talk about that thrill with the exception of Barry Bonds. That's his fucking thing.
Yeah.
So he makes
Yeah.
a really good point, though. So long as he could just, doesn't take much, it's just timing,
No.
and catch the ball with the barrel of the bat, he literally at 60 years old can still fucking do it.
Oh yeah, and he's in just as good a shape now as he was when he was playing. But and I've told a lot of people this, about you know, could you still hit now? Probably, yeah, because guess what? All it is a timing thing. You give me about a week of taking batting practice every day, and what you and I had talked about before, I'll start moving the batting practice pitcher up, and he'll get closer, and he'll get closer, he'll get closer, and I'll start working on that timing. I'll get the bat there. I mean, that's just the way it is. That's what we did for so many years. And you know, for people that don't get kind of what I'm saying, you know, when you face velocity, you and I have talked about this. When you face velocity, I'm not doing anything different. I am using the same swing that I have used for forever. But when you're facing velocity, you start your swing earlier.
Mm-hmm.
You start your preparation earlier. And so for like that question to Barry, I know what Barry was going to say. Barry was going to say, without a fucking doubt, hell yeah, kid.
Yeah, no question about it. So I could attest to that. And the reason being is that when I managed the Bananas, I
Yeah,
pinch hit
yeah,
myself a few times.
yeah.
But not only that, it wasn't even that. It's like, okay, whatever. Now, so far in my Bananas career, I'm a 500 hitter, 2 for 4. But we'll forget about that for a second. It's not the stats that tell the story. What tells the story is when we would have practices and we would have guys go on the mound, whoever it is, and these guys are throwing 85 to 94 miles per hour, and I would get in the box against them. And dude, I felt like I saw the ball better than I've ever seen the ball. And I don't know why. It was just like I was slowing it down, whatever. Now, the irony is, if I need readers if I'm gonna really, or without backing up, right? If I try to read like this now, it doesn't work. So I gotta go like this to read all my text and everything. But I go like this and like it's fine. So obviously my eyesight in some form has deteriorated. But I was still sitting there going, oh, 85, like no problem. In pickleball, ball comes at me, short plane, short range, no problem. I feel like my reflexes and my eyesight with that stuff is as good as ever. Now, is my body moving as well as it once did? No, fuck no.
No,
But
I
I'm
agree.
still
I
moving.
agree. I agree. But that's what I'm talking about is and you even bring up the Bananas. The Bananas wanted me to get an at bat in so bad last year, and I was like, no. I'm like, dude. I mean, I hate to say it, but you don't get it, man. I've been there. I've been there. I've done that. All right. Now it's time for you guys to go out there and be in the spotlight and you guys to do it. People don't need to see me to do it. If they want to see me, they can go on freaking YouTube, you know? But here's the thing. If I needed to, I could do it. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, last year we did it, the year before we did it. We didn't do it this year because I was barking. All right. But you know, hitting in the off the tee in the garage, stuff like that. When I go see, the Eugene team or the Richmond team or whatever, I will jump in the cage and I will legitimately hit. Like legitimately hit. None of this piece of trash stuff. No, I'm going to tell you, hey, I'm going to hit the ball right there and I hit the ball right there. Or I'm going to tell you, I'm going to hit the ball over there and I hit the ball right there. And these guys get in there and they're like, how did you do that? And I go, well, first off, it's muscle memory, but I know my swing better than you know your swing. And so that's what I'm trying to get you to do. I'm trying to get you to do this over and over and over repetitiously and catch the ball absolutely square every time.
I would tell you, as far as the banana thing, like if you're gonna hit in a game for the Bananas, number one, you go into it with this whatever happens. If I punch out, I'm supposed to punch
Yeah.
out, like, no big deal, whatever. But I also would say, and this is where I was with them when they wanted me to play. I'm like, Jesse, who's the owner. I'm
Yeah.
like, Jesse,
Yeah.
listen, bro, I'll hit, but if I'm gonna fucking hit, I'm gonna be prepared to hit. And so I need to take regular batting practice. I want to see some real live pitching. And then when I do that and I got my timing back and I know what I'm doing up there, I don't want to go up there as a novelty act. Kind of like you said. Like I've done my shit. I've already made
Right.
my
Right.
name.
Right.
I dedicated my life to it. It's over. But if I am going to get back into it, even for a limited experience or a limited short period of time, whatever, I'm going to be fucking prepared.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm not just going to step out in front of fucking 13,000 people in my hometown of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and maybe flip a coin and see what. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like a little more preparation. Now, if you had been working out with LSU and hitting on a regular basis, going in there, face a few live pitching, all right, let's fucking go.
Right.
That's my take on it.
But then here's another thing too. I mean, and this is just me. This is how I approach things. If I'm going to jump in there, like you said, I'm going to take batting practice. I'm going to face some live pitching. And when I get in there, it would be a feather in this guy's cap if he can get me out.
Yeah.
All right. And so I'm not up there to make it easy on him. I'm going to give him the freaking at bat of his fucking lifetime. And, like you said, I just wasn't prepared. I didn't feel like doing it. And y'all go do the thing.
Well, it's interesting because the exterminator was the guy that struck me out to end the game at Old Rickwood Field. And
Oh,
the
really? At Rickwood?
exterminator, the exterminator got his name because he actually in the off season is an exterminator. Like he fucking goes and kills insects and shit.
That's funny.
Well, the exterminator now has he has my fur coat, the OG fur coat, because he said if I strike you out, that coat's mine. I said fucking take it. So the exterminator.
That's awesome.
That's beyond a feather in his cap. It's a fur coat on his back.
Fur coat on his back. All right, let's see what we got working here. First off, the one thing that I wanted to bring up now that we got our things out the way here, San Francisco Giants have been playing extremely well in spring training. I talked to Pat Burrell yesterday, the hitting instructor of the Giants, and he said we're kind of going back old school situational type stuff. He even mentioned this. He goes, Willie Adames is the real deal. And I go, really? He goes, yeah. He goes, I was throwing BP to him in January, and he said Heliot Ramos was down there too. And he took the first round of batting practice and, to get used to Pat and how Pat threw and stuff like that. And then the next round, Adames goes like this. He goes, Poppy, let's work on some situations right here. And Ramos goes, hey, bud, a little too early to be working on situations. And Adames flat out told Ramos, he goes, it's never early to work on situations. That's how you get to be a good situational hitter, is to practice it from day one. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, that was music to my ears right there. I'm hoping Heliot Ramos pays attention and he starts doing, situational hitting from now on.
Well, that's beautiful because when you get into a game, you obviously are dealing with situations all the time. Leading off an inning, runner on second, 2 outs, runners at first and second, no outs, runner on third base, less than 2 outs. Every time you come to the fucking dish, there's a situation for you, Thrill. And you might as well practice it, right?
Might as well. You're going to be in that situation over the course of the year. I tell you what, man, right out the chute. I would, and you and I have talked about this. I'm not a big proponent of hitting off of machines, but there is a kind of a time and a place for a machine. For me, it was to get the calluses and all of that on my hands because I'm going to be swinging 300-400 times a day. So I need these calluses built up. So you need to get a lot of swings, a lot of blisters and shit get off your hands. Boom. That's first off. Second off, after that happens and you start getting live arms, I am working on something. There's a it used to be at the College World Series in Omaha in Rosenblatt Stadium. And I said it and I mean it till this day. I never went up to the plate without a plan. And that's the truth. That was on the side of the building at Omaha. And that's how I took batting practice. Same thing that Willie Adames is basically trying to teach Heliot Ramos. There's a reason behind this. This is what we're going to do. This is why we're doing it. We're going to practice it now because when it comes in the game, it's going to be second nature and it's going to click.
I love that, dude. So the question then becomes the Giants this season. A lot of high hopes. A lot of people believing right now. Are you drinking the Kool-Aid? Do you think they can compete?
All right, so let's look at it like legitimately here, okay? Pitching and defense wins baseball games. You look at the good staffs, all right? LA's got a good staff. Arizona, San Diego. We got Logan Webb, Justin Verlander, Robbie Ray, Kyle Harrison, and Jordan Hicks as of right now. And that's not even counting the kids we got waiting in the wings like Birdsong and Beck and Landon Root and Mason Black, people like that. We are set up pretty well as far as pitching goes. All right. Our bullpen did a real good job last year. We talked about Eric Miller being the only left-hander as of right now. So I'd like to see that step up a little bit more. We have nailed down the left side of the infield. Adames and Matt Chapman, pros over there. We got Patrick Bailey, Gold Glover behind the dish. We got Wilmer Flores and Lamont Wade at first, Tyler Fitzgerald at second. Tyler's going to do a great job. He just needs to get his feet up on him, and then we got our outfield. Mr. Lee's going to be in center. Yastrzemski, who came down to the wire being a Gold Glove candidate last year, in right. And in left field, hopefully Elliott just plants his flag out there. He used to be a center fielder. Now they moved him to a corner. So he's going to be an athletic corner guy. So when I put all of this stuff together, partner, we are in the same boat as a lot of other people right now. We're looking really good. Here's one for you, okay? Because you and I talk about this all the time. As long as we stay away from the big injuries, what happened with the Yankees yesterday? You and I even texted back and forth about it. Garrett Cole blows out an elbow. You lose your ace. Now they're freaking scrambling. You know? What happens over the course of the year with other teams, maybe even other teams in our division, have some major key injuries and you lose ground. So there you go.
Thrill, when you go over the Giants' defense and pitching staff like that, you make me a believer. It is legit, right?
Yeah.
You have crazy depth in the starting rotation, which also means what? You're going to have depth in the bullpen.
Right. Right.
You're going to have it.
Well, and then here's another thing, all right? And Christian even just said it right now. He said, what do you think our biggest weakness was? I think they kind of even addressed it, is power. You bring Adames in. He hit 32 last year. Matt Chapman's got 20-something last year. The big question marks, Tyler Fitzgerald had 15 and not playing every day, all right? The big question mark would be Wade and Flores. Those guys had – Flores was hurt. Wade had a down year. Elliott, let's see what he does over the course of a full year. All right. Mr. Lee, Jung-Hoo, all right. He has to get back in the everyday lineup, and he has to learn the other team and what they're trying to do to him. Okay. And then Yaz, I'm hoping Yaz has a freaking breakout year like he did when he first came up.
The Giants are fucking good. They really are.
Oh, and we keep forgetting. I keep forgetting to tell you. We mentioned him last week. Was that Gerard Encarnacion? I love him, and he's got some pop too, dude. So there's a lot of positives from the Giants end of things right now for the 2025 season. Keep our fingers crossed. Everybody stays healthy and goes out there and has a good year.
Well, you mentioned it. I think it starts with run prevention. And if you have guys that are pounding the strike zone and you have defenses that are making plays and you're able to prevent runs through, that's everything.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm just looking at little things. I mean, little things. Logan is throwing many more strikes now that I've been watching, in spring training. Robbie Ray is working on not only his fastball, he's working on his changeup. Why? San Francisco has a little bit bigger yard, and he's going to have a good defense behind him. He needs to keep the ball on the ground. Justin Verlander is working on a different grip on his curveball to where he can get more movement to where when they do put the ball in play, you take a little sting out the bat, maybe put it on the ground, outs. These are the little things that I'm watching in spring training. And I'm fired up to see. So, there's a lot of good things. If you're a San Francisco Giant fan, there's a lot of good things to think about the 2025 club. And, just go out there from day one. Like I said, I think they won again today. I'm having problems pulling it up right now. but I think they won again today. That would be 12-3. You know, I mean, 12-3. Hey, I don't care if it's spring training or not. You are creating a winning atmosphere. That's what you do with the kids from Let Us Play. You create a winning atmosphere. Then they go play the kids in Houston, Texas, or wherever parts of California that you guys play. Now these kids know what they're doing. They know how to go out there and win. And that's what the Giants are doing right now. I love it.
Giants 5-3 winners today over the Oakland Athletics. Oh, excuse me, Sacramento Athletics. Oh, wait a second.
Yeah,
Las Vegas Athletics. Whatever. They 5-3 winners. They're now 12-3. Thrill.
12-3. Yeah.
You know what that also says about the San Francisco Giants? And do not sleep on this. Great depth with their reserves who come in at the back end to go win some fucking baseball games, correct?
That is correct. That is correct. Hey, you know what else, too? I got to tell you this right now. Because I just pulled up the box score, and this name hit me out of the clear blue. So one of my ex-teammates, you know him well, is Mike Aldretti. He's been the bench coach for, Bob Melvin for a long period of time. Now he's over there in the A's, excuse me, the Sacramento A's, or whatever the shit they call themselves. But anyway, so Mike's one of their coaches on the staff, and we had his nephew in our system. Kid's name is Carter Aldretti.
Yep.
And
Arizona State.
Yeah, Arizona State kid. And I loved him. I thought he was really good. He was making some adjustments, and I don't know, they got rid of him for whatever reason. They got rid of him. But I guess Uncle Mike got him to come on, and he actually got in the game today and went 1-for-1 with an RBI. So congratulations, Carter Aldretti. I'm proud of you, man.
Yeah, he's fucking good, man. I watched this kid at Arizona State. He was legit. Legit.
Yep, and he was good with us. He was making some real good adjustments. I had him in Eugene, and then also in Richmond. He was making some good adjustments, and like I said, for whatever reason, the organization got rid of him. So,
well, dude, I explained this to Colton today, where we were talking about this guy, and then we were talking about this guy. We're talking about guys that he's played with and against over the years, and he asked me my opinion on a couple guys. Let's say one guy specifically, and I said, dude, look, if you were to ask me right now, and actually I'll go to both of them. There's two of them. I said, right now, I would tell you that they're going to play Division I baseball because they both have their shit together enough from an academic perspective where they're going to be able to get into college, right? Smart kids, great parents. Their exit velocities are already damn near D1 level. So these are kids that matured very early, but their exit velo is over 100. So that plays, right? That bat's going to play once you get to college. But then I also said, if you were to ask me today, if I had to bet on this guy playing professional baseball, yes or no, I would say no on both of them. I just don't see it. And my reason being is that there's a lot more that goes into it. And part of it is, number one, a fucking obsession with being great and an obsession with a work ethic. The other part of it is being a good teammate, being somebody that is going to be able to assimilate within an environment wherever he goes. And so if he's constantly going into an environment and it's becoming somewhat toxic, that's not a good thing. And this is about one player specific. So if you look at this stuff, like if you want to make it, if you're a kid sitting at home and you're listening to this, if you're watching this, number one, excuse all the F-bombs that I drop. But number two, realize that there's so much fucking more than talent that goes into becoming, number one, a professional baseball player, but number two, a big leaguer. Because you not only have to have the obsession to be great and the skill set to do it, but you also have to be somebody that people like, that people, look, you don't have to be best friends with everybody. I get it. But at some point, you have to be able to work well with others. And if you don't, there's just so many other fucking kids out there that they're going to go get somebody else.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah. Yeah. So here's the thing. So I loved everything you just said. That was freaking phenomenal, right? So, you and I have talked about it before. Everybody in the chat rooms listened to this. My dad was very competitive. He made me compete all the time, right? When I was on the baseball field, I was not out there to be your friend. I was out there to kick your ass, all right? And till this day, there's a lot of former big leaguers that I run into all the time that were like, man, we thought you were a fucking prick and you're a fucking good dude. And I go, dude, I was just trying to hammer your ass. Back then it wasn't none of this, everybody hugging and kissing on one another and, being, old boys from the Dominican and all that. We had like rules that you couldn't go over and talk to the other team and shit like that. It cost you money.
Mhm.
So anyway, the game's changed, whatever. But it's the fact, and this is exactly what you said. I'm just going to bump it up a hair. You got these kids, all right? They're developing early. Okay, fine. Guess what? Everybody else is going to develop sooner or later and probably catch these kids, all right? Now, what these two kids have to do is, all right, they have been the kids meow, all right? Fine. Now what you got to do is you got to get better and better and better. Okay, so, here I am in high school. Here you are in high school. Everybody else that's in the chat room is in high school. All right, fine. When you go to college, you better get your ass in gear and go to the next level. Otherwise, your ass is sitting on the bench. Okay, so now not only did I want to be really good in college. Fuck that. I want to be the best in college. I want to win the College World Series. I want to be the freaking MVP on the team and all that sort of stuff. Boom. You get drafted. You get into pro ball. Same thing. Guess what? Now you're with a bunch of dudes that were all MVPs on their team. Now, how do you separate yourself and get to be the fucking man? That's what we're talking about. You and I are talking about that right now. People in the chat room understand. Dude, it's constantly working and getting better and getting better and getting better. And as we talked about with what Willie Adames told Heliot Ramos, I want to be in that situation. I want to win the game. I am the man. I don't give a fuck how good you are. I know I'm good. And I know that I'm going to get the fucking job done because I've been doing that for fucking 40 years. Give me the fucking bat when the fucking bright lights are on. I'm going to win this motherfucker. And that's how that's the kind of attitude you got to have, not only from the attitude of those two kids you're talking about, but as they get older. That's the attitude that they got to have. Otherwise, they're probably going to get burnt out and run over by other people.
I've told this story before, but reality set in with this when I went to instructional league in 1998, and Carl Keel, who wrote The Mental Game of Baseball,
Yeah.
was there giving a speech. And there was 30 guys in instructional league. We were all top prospects. And Carl said, "Hey guys, well, 30 top prospects, Oakland A's organization. I'm sure we got a bunch of minor league all stars, in here." It's like, yeah. You just raise your hand if you were a minor league all star last year. It's like, oh, hands went up. All right, well, I'm sure we have some college all Americans. A lot of you guys just signed, and how many all Americans in here? Some more hands went up. I said, awesome. He's like, well, he goes, you guys know what it takes to play in the big leagues, right? We're like, yeah, like, of course we do. He's like, it's gave the Bull Durham speech. So women all have long legs and brains. You hit white balls for batting practice. The ballparks are like cathedrals. You guys all know what it's like to play the big leagues, right? And everyone's like, yeah, yeah. And he goes, you got no fucking clue what it's like to play in the big leagues. And it was like, whoa. Dude, we were all taken aback. And so he says, look around the room. Look around the room. There's 30 of you motherfuckers in here. Statistics say that only 3 of you will ever play a single fucking day in the big leagues. And that was like, whoa.
Yeah.
He's right. 10%, 10% of minor leaguers make it to the big leagues. I actually think the number's less than that. And so, like I told you before, I looked to my left. It was Jason Hart, Southwest Missouri State, big slug at first baseman. Bert Snow, Vanderbilt University, relief pitcher to my right. He was nasty. And I looked at both of them. They were 2 of my best friends. I said, well, boys, you coming with me? Because there's only 2 more spots.
I like that.
Hey, I had that confidence, man.
Dude, that's
I'm going to big leagues. I don't know about you, motherfucker. I'm going.
Shit, you heard my rant just now. You don't think I got confidence about that shit? So, and that's like, somebody asking Barry Bonds if he could hit right now. Fuck. Could he hit right now? That motherfucker turning some shit around right now. All right.
What?
And then, so now, you and I, we've been doing this for years now. The one thing that I absolutely love about this freaking platform is I can look in the chat room and people have questions, right? Yep. And they're like, hey, what about this? And hey, what about that? Robert just brought it up. Break down the difference in between high school, college, minors, majors. All right. It is an ongoing process, Robert. All right. So high school, you're generally not going to face top dudes every day. Generally not. College, you're always going to have your stud 1 and 2 guys, and then you beat up on everybody else. Minor leagues, you're going to get in there, and you're going to face a lot of guys that are throwing 9,000 miles an hour and have no fucking earthly idea where it's going. And then you get to the major leagues, and it's like, oh, shit. Not only do they know where it's going, they can get it there in a hurry. And then there's a lot of other guys that were like in my era, they were way up here with the guys that could get it there and make it move. Oh my God. So here you go. Check this one out. All right. So we're up at the plate. Okay. So you are throwing to me and you're throwing a 4-seam fastball. Okay. When you throw a 4-seam fastball, when it leaves your hand, when it gets to me, it's in the same spot. Okay. So now all I got to do is just time you up perfect and get my bat head there. Okay. But the difference is, and this is where I preface this at, if you got a guy that's throwing and when it gets to me, it's over here, it's like, oh shit. Not only do I have to do this in real time, but now the ball's moving away from me or moving into me. And I have to like anticipate that and get there before he gets there. Oh man, that separates the men from the boys. And that goes back to, I mean, I hate to say it, but it goes back to exactly what, you're talking about with these 2 young men. Hey, look, I wish them the best, but each level you go up, you better get your ass in gear and be the best on that level. Otherwise, this game will chew you up and spit you out.
As it has each and every one of us, Thrill.
Yes, it has. Yes, it has. Hey, look, you know how you get to be a 300 hitter? You fucking fail 7 out of 10 times. That's how you get to be a 300 hitter. In those fucking 7 failures, guess what? I'm going to figure out some shit in those 7 failures to get those 3.
I love that. I'm going to figure out some shit in those 7 failures to get those 3 knocks.
Get those 3 knocks.
That's how you get to be great.
You
fail enough, and then you fail enough, and you make the fucking adjustments. I mean, it's those who make the adjustments who, when you're talking, right? I've heard this stat before, like the difference between a 250 hitter and a 300 hitter is literally like 1 knock a week. 1.
I was going to say that. I was just going to say that. The difference in between a 250 or a 280 hitter, the difference in between a 280 and a 300 hitter, the difference in between a 300 hitter and a 330 hitter. One knock a week. One knock a week. You look at it over the course of a 6-month schedule, 4 weeks times 6, you're looking at 24, maybe 25 hits. Those 25 hits push you up 20 to 30 points at every level.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. Because a baseball season is 30 weeks.
Yep.
Right? So we're talking 30 hits. That's 30 extra fucking hits, man. It's a lot of hits.
Hey, guess what? And, that was one thing that I was really good at in school. I was good at math. All right. And I go tell these minor leaguers now, I'm like, hey, look, this is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when you get 0-2, all right, that's when I'm freaking grinding. You get 0-2, that's when I'm sticking my freaking face in here. And I'm like, you ain't getting me out. Because guess what? You can doink one in here. You can broken bat one there, whatever it might be. But that's that one hit a week. Grind, baby.
I love that. Thrill, you know what also I love is the communication in the chat room. Just like you said, we have Ryan on here. Ryan Raspberry 34. I love the handle. He says, "Hey fellas, been listening for a while. I'm a big fan of you both. I listen weekly and we'll be with y'all every Tuesday." Fucking bring all your friends too, Ryan.
Hell yeah, Ryan. Bring them on.
Party
Bring
in
them
here.
on.
And
Hey,
pour
thanks
yourself a
for
tequila
listening.
or whiskey, whatever you want.
Yeah, thanks for listening. Thanks for jumping in the chat room. And we got our old favorites. I mean, Bill Cornwallis came in here a little while back. JT's in here. Linda's in here as usual. Joel and Emily are in here. So thank y'all, man. Just keep bringing the fun stuff. And that's what I'm saying now. Not only EB and I, we talk, all right, and we're gonna say, hey, look, we need to talk about this. We need to talk about that. But then all of a sudden, like Robert just did. He fired a question on there. It's like, okay, let's answer that question. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, Austin, thanks for listening. We will keep bringing it every fucking week. I promise you that. So long as we do this show. Christian says, "What was the hardest pitch for you to hit, Thrill?"
Without a shadow of a doubt, best pitch in baseball, change up. Everything else, fastball, breaking ball, slider, cutter, knuckleball, whatever it is, have different rotations on the ball. You can see it. Fastball, changeup look exactly the same. They're just messing with your timing. That's why all these kids, and especially all the Erics, let them play kids, they ought to focus on fastball, changeup way before they start throwing a breaking ball.
I love that. You're right.
Oh, and by the way, while we're talking about this, because we mentioned it earlier, fastball changeup puts no pressure on the elbow. So you don't have a Garrett Cole blowing out. All right. What do you think about that?
Speaking of the elbow, Thrill, so obviously Garrett Cole, the latest casualty, we're going to miss him for the next 18 months.
Yeah.
But if you look at the numbers of Tommy John surgeries, they're going through the fucking roof. Emphasis on velocity is at an all-time high. Emphasis on spin rate is at an all-time high. You are stressing the elbow more now than ever before. MLB has come out and they obviously know that this is an issue, but you have some, let's call them impurists, that are talking about limiting velocity, saying you can't throw. They like this, coming up with crazy shit. Look, if you ask me, this will work itself out. I don't blame guys for fucking trying to throw as hard as they can. I don't blame them for trying to spin it as much as they can. They're trying to get drafted. They're trying to fulfill their dream. I understand this. Does Major League Baseball have a problem, though? Because even if you look at the perfect game numbers of guys that were throwing 95 in showcase games, you go back 10 years and it was like 5 kids. Now you go to today and we're talking 40 are throwing 95 plus.
So here's one of the things. You and I have talked about this, and I don't know if we brought this up on the show or not, but pitching is mechanically not good, shall we say. You have your arm up here and everything in your shoulder and everything is pinched. All right. It would be normal to throw underhand. So, like girls throwing softballs, that's freaking normal. That's why these freaking girls can wing the shit out of it.
All
Right?
day, too.
You
All day.
start going up here and you start pinching all that shit in your shoulder and all that. And then all you do is you don't give a fuck about, mechanics, and you reach back and you throw the shit out of it. Sooner or later, you're going to blow out. Without a shadow of a doubt. Sooner or later, you're going to blow out. Look at what we just talked about a little bit ago. And Austin, you're perfect on this one. If I see a fastball and when it gets to me, it's in the same spot, sooner or later, I'm going to catch up with this son of a bitch, right? But if you're throwing fastball changeup and now, you're making your fastball move a little bit, then the changeup falls off the table, those kind of things. This is a whole new set of problems that a hitter like me has to go through. If you look at some of the best changeup artists out there, let's think about it. All right, you got your Maddox, top of the heap. You got your Glavine, top of the heap. All right, you got Jamie Moyer. Jamie Moyer pitched 24 years in the big leagues by throwing fastball changeup, and he couldn't break an egg.
No, he would throw inside too, Thrill.
Yeah, exactly.
All day.
All day. Let's go back a little bit more. This is a beginning of my career, and I faced him into my career. John Tudor. John Tudor threw 75 miles an hour with a changeup. He threw fastball changeup, and he threw a breaking ball once in a blue moon. He went 20 games, and it went to the last day of the season to get 3 straight 20-game seasons, and he threw 9 complete, and the team didn't score for him. So he went 20-20-19. Otherwise, he'd have been 20-20-20 with throwing 75 miles an hour with a changeup.
So, Thrill.
So what pitch do you think is the best in baseball? Changeup.
You're based on my success or lack thereof against it, I would say the right on right slider. But you have a really good point.
Yeah, because you kept chasing that motherfucker. They kept pitching. They kept throwing it.
Oh, it looks so good to hit, man.
Oh, yeah, it does. It looks so good to hit.
It was a slider. It come like this, right? You'd see it out of the hand, and it come like this, and you see it come across the side. You're like, oh, yeah, a slider. It's starting out over the middle of the plate. It might even be up. And then next thing you know.
Yep.
So even with Trevor Hoffman, who arguably had the greatest changeup of all time, I would be able to see his fingers off of his changeup. I knew it was fucking coming, but I still couldn't hit it.
So some guys, exactly what you're talking about, they throw that circle change. So what they do is they have a hole in their hand, and then they put the ball in here, right? And then when they go to throw it, like Eric's talking about, their fingers come off and go like that, and the ball like tumbles and goes away from you. But you see their fingers come off, and you're like, oh, shit, there's a changeup. Fine, there's a changeup, but now the ball is bailing away from me. So now I got to go, oh, shit, there's a changeup, but it's going to be way over there. I got to go that way with it, So, hey, man, changeup is a phenomenal pitch. And so for all of you in the chat room, and somebody was just commenting on it, I don't know who it was. Fastball changeup. That's what kids ought to learn first. Why? Okay? Look at a freaking 9 or 10 or 12-year-old. When they grab a baseball, do they grab a baseball like this? Fuck no. They grab a baseball with like every finger they got, and they're throwing it like that. Exactly, EB. That's exactly how they're throwing it. So guess what? You're throwing a natural changeup anyway. Fucking throw it some more.
That's one of the best points I've ever heard made, because I spent so much time with all the kids when I first started coaching baseball, 2 fingers on top, boys. 2 fingers on top. 2 fingers, right? So we'll take this. We're going to tuck these under here. We're going to get the 2 fingers on top. We'll let it go. Let it roll off the fingers. Here's a seam. This is a 4 seam. This is a 2 seam. But this is what we want. 2 fingers on top. And you're like, the first pitch they actually learned how to fucking throw was exactly that. It was like a palm ball.
And you try to teach it, and they go, and then they grab it, like that when they throw it, and you're like, oh, Jesus. What the hell?
So good. All right. So recently, Thrill, I just mentioned Trevor Hoffman, arguably the greatest closer of all time, up there with Mariano Rivera.
Hey. I got one at bat against him. He made me look stupid. Nice job, Trevor. You fucking made a lot of people look stupid.
So there was an article that came out on MLB.com, and this was voted on by the players. You could pick a starter or reliever. They chose one guy in the game right now who they would want closing out a game 7. I will list these guys now in, let's go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5 was.
All right, I'm going to write this down. Go ahead.
5 was Tariq Skubal, the Cy Young Award winner, the American League.
Yeah, but he's a starter.
Tigers. You could choose a starter.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't matter. One pitcher to close out a game 7. Number 4 is the guy we've been talking about all night that's done for the next 18 months, Garrett Cole.
Right.
Number 3, Ryan Helsley of the Cardinals. If you don't know much about him, I don't blame you because the Cardinals have been pretty irrelevant. He had a 1.83 ERA and a 12.1 strikeouts per 9 inning rate over 167 2/3 innings since 2022. This guy has been
he's their closer, right?
Yes. Been filthy. So number 2 is another closer, Mason Miller, the 101 mile per hour throwing closer for not the Sacramento A's, not the Las Vegas A's, but just the fucking A's.
It's the fucking Las Vegas A's. All you politically correct bastards.
Okay, so Miller has a 2.49 ERA over his past 65 frames, which was, he saved 28 games last year. His expected ERA was an MLB best 1.77. So number 1 on this list, drum roll, please. I mean, I forgot.
You got the organ going.
Oh, there's the crickets. We have an applause.
Oh, come on. All right, go ahead.
We have all kinds of shit. Emmanuel Clase of your Cleveland Guardians.
Indians.
So Clase, this is crazy. 0.61 ERA. I mean, this is not even real. It says beyond his microscopic 2024 ERA, he has a whip of 0.66. He was virtually unhittable. 392 opponents OPS. Great. And I understand this. We're in 2025. I want to ask you, though, if you had one pitcher in the history of baseball, starter or reliever, to close out Game 7 of the World Series, who do you want on the mound?
Wow. Game 7 of the World Series in the history of baseball.
Starter or reliever?
If I need to get it done, I'm going with Bob Gibson.
I like that.
If I need to get it done, big man, very imposing out on the mound, great command, would throw at you, keep you uncomfortable, and always won the big game.
Thrill. This is wild.
Yeah.
But I think
you're going back a long way. I mean, if you really want to get into it, and you go back to like, back in the day. I mean, you're talking about Big Train Johnson,
Yeah,
people
Walter
like that.
Johnson.
It's like, whoa. But where people would understand and still be able to see videos of this man throwing and stuff like that. I mean, that one season he had, what was it, a 1.16 ERA or something like that, whatever it was. Podna, I'll take him any day of the week. Plus, on top of that, when I was in the Cardinals clubhouse in 2001, 2002, and he was in the locker next to me, he's a very, very imposing figure.
Oh, I know this. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he
Yeah.
large man. I've heard
Yeah,
about
he's a large man. Plus, on top of that, he's a Gold Gloves boxer. You're not going out there on the mound and try to jack him up, So no, he was. If I had to guess, that would be it. A second to that one would be, because I am a fan of him, not only from a pitcher standpoint, but as a true gentleman, would be Sandy Koufax.
Okay. And I respect both of those.
Yeah.
I would tell you that if I had one guy to close out game 7 of the World Series, just one inning, having him come out there to blow it out. Oh,
Give it up. Come on.
Pedro fucking Martinez.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good
The
one.
diminutive stature, the fucking rising fastball, the fact that he would stick it in your ear hole if you looked at him the wrong way.
Yep.
Arguably,
He had the
the
freaking
greatest
fingers this
changeup
long and a
ever.
change up.
The longest fingers ever.
Yep.
A nasty freaking whip on the breaking ball. And the fact that he didn't give a fuck at any point, at any time. Go back to that All-Star game in Boston when he started the game. I believe it was 2 innings that he went, struck out everybody.
Yeah, he struck out 6.
Just filthy. And that was going against the best of the best when he was in his prime. Pedro.
I like that one. I like that one. That's a good call right there. All right. So now here's another one for you. All right. And it doesn't matter whether, this was me or not. What? You give me one inning, and you tell him to throw it as hard as you fucking can. Give me one inning of Nolan Ryan cutting it loose. All right. I'm talking about.
You're right.
I'm talking about. You want to see something you've never seen in baseball before? I'm talking about. Oh my God, he was throwing. Back in the day, he's throwing. 104, 105 because the fucking radar guns were terrible. All right. You let him say, "Hey, here's the ball. You got one inning. Let it fucking eat." Oh my God, who knows what's coming out of that arm?
He might have thrown 110.
He might have. Who knows? But I can tell you one thing. I mean, you let him just not have to pace himself and just one inning, cut it loose. Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
The other guy that I would have liked to see in that closer role, Randy Johnson.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. He'd have made people look stupid.
Well, dude.
I mean, stupid.
I mean, he was just a scary sight.
So now check this one out. And you and I have talked about it, and maybe some of the people in the chat room know this, but I faced both of them. I faced Randy and Pedro when they were coming out the bullpen in Montreal. First time I faced Randy, I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? And he cut a fastball loose that was, he was trying to go away and he missed up and in. It was you know, it was up here, one of them numbers. And I was like, oh shit. I wasn't expecting that. I better dial it up a little bit here, right here. Here, let's turn up the old knob because that got on me in a hurry. And then, you know, like you said, Pedro not giving a fuck. The first time I ever faced Pedro Martinez, I was 0-2 and he threw one behind my head. He threw one behind my head, and their catcher was Darren Fletcher. And I looked down at Darren and I go, was that on purpose? And he looked at me, he goes, Will, I call a fastball away right there. And I go, if he fucking does that again, I said, your ass is getting fucking drilled. He goes, don't worry. He says, I will move way out this time. So
That's crazy, man.
yep.
It's the bravado that he had for being not a big dude was nuts. And I I had the opportunity to work with him at MLB Network. I got to know him because of my connection with Licey and playing in the Dominican. And he would hang out in our dugout and in the locker room all the time, and he'd come work out. But there's something about him when you start talking about an at bat specifically or a game situation, and you could see a twinkle in his fucking eye, man, where it's almost like he changes out of his Clark Kent suit and
Who are
tie
you
or
talking
whatever
about?
else he's
Who are you
fucking
talking about?
wearing, and he turns into Superman, Pedro.
Oh God, yeah. Oh yeah.
It's an alter ego, man. Like
Yeah.
he gets on the mound and is straight fucking altered ego, right?
Hey, you know, somebody that you and I have talked about in the past, the maybe everybody in the chat room will remember this, but when he gave a rat's ass, when he said, fuck you, nobody's gonna get a hit off of me. One of the nastiest motherfuckers was John Candelaria. Used
Hmm.
to be with the Pittsburgh Pirates and then
Yeah, I
went to the
remember him.
Dodgers. Dude, dude. I mean, he had 96, 97 from the left side riding in on you and a freaking sweeping slider. And when he gave a rat's ass, he spotted up both of those pitches. And he was no fun. No fun to face.
I just want to go over the top 10 pitchers of all time according to our favorite statistic, WAR, wins above replacement, because I think they just need to be mentioned because we haven't really mentioned any of them except for uh, Randy Johnson at number 9. You have
All right.
Cy Young at number 1,
Okay.
Walter Johnson, Big
Big,
Train,
big
number
train. We talked about him.
2. We did talk about him. Roger Clemens is actually number 3.
3. Oh, God.
Kid Nichols at 4.
All right.
Grover
He's
Cleveland.
he's from the 1800s.
I mean, he's from way back when.
Yeah.
Grover Cleveland at 5.
Yeah,
Lefty
Grover Cleveland was another one from
Grover Cleveland
Big
Alexander, that
Train,
is,
and Cy Young's era. Okay,
not the president. Lefty Grove at 6. Tom
he's
Seaver
another one from back then.
at 7. Did you ever face Tom Seaver?
I did not face Tom Seaver, but I loved him growing up.
Greg Maddux at 8. Randy Johnson at 9. And Christy Mathewson at 10.
At Giant Hall of Famer Christy Mathewson. Wow, pretty unbelievable. Hey, you know what we didn't do? You sent me before we came on here. You sent me they rated the ballparks and
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
let's do that, and then we'll be done because I got to tear
Let's
it
run through
downstairs.
that real quick, and we'll just because there's a bunch of ballparks you know about that I don't know about. So let's run through that.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so the ballpark list came out, and this was voted on, I believe, Thrill, by
It was USA Today
fans.
editors and writers, 8 of them. I read the article.
Okay, so ranking MLB stadiums 1 to 30. And they actually only did 28 because obviously Tampa's going to be playing in the Yankees spring training facility and then you have the A's playing in Sacramento.
Right. So they only did 28 teams instead of 30.
So let's start at 28. I like working
Oh,
backwards.
you're going to work backwards. All right. Let's do
Yeah,
it.
it's always fun for the drum roll.
All right. Ready?
Before we get
Ready?
to
I'll give you the drum roll. Brrr, boom.
all right, here we go.
28 we have.
Number 28. So basically, they're saying the worst park in Major League Baseball.
And I am in total agreement with this one.
So am I. This place sucks.
Fucking
Right field,
sucks.
the Chicago White Sox.
Rate Field. It used to be called Comiskey for years. Now it's something. It used to be Guaranteed Rate Field. Now it's just Rate Field. Not only is it a shitty ballpark, but they got fucking fucked up fans too. So you can take that with you, all you Chicago fucks.
I couldn't agree more, Thrill. I'm glad we're on the same page. I've
27.
yeah, 27. This is an interesting one. So basically, say the second worst ballpark in Major League Baseball, Chase Field, Arizona Diamondbacks.
Yeah, I know. They put Chase Field on there, but you got to remember Chase Field's got some neat shit going on. They got a pool out there in right field. They got a TGI Fridays up there in left field, and it was a great place to hit. So I didn't mind Chase Field.
Yeah, they can fuck off, man. I love playing there.
All right,
Loved
next.
everything about it. Love the fans.
Yeah,
Love the stadium.
you had a great run there, man. That was awesome.
Saw the ball incredibly well. There was something about that batter's eye. The pool in right field. Chase is great. And you're in AD. You're going to Scottsdale after the game, going to 6 or
hey, look, you're
freaking
in Arizona and you got a roof over you and you're freaking air conditioned. So what the shit?
70 degrees every day. Fuck off.
Yep.
That's a great stadium. Number 26, Great American Ballpark, Cincinnati Reds.
All right, that's a you question because I've never been to Great American.
Yeah, it's okay.
All right, I played in Riverfront. And
I loved hitting there. That was a great place to hit, I'll tell you that.
All right.
Number 25, Nationals Park.
Man. Went there last year when the Giants were playing. You know, walked from the hotel over there. It was okay, not great. Food was very average.
Okay. Number 24, American Family Field, the Milwaukee Brewers.
Never been there. I was at Milwaukee County Stadium. So what do you think about that one?
That was cool. That was cool. Not great.
Okay.
Probably ranked exactly where it should be. Okay. Angel Stadium, number 23.
All right. So I played in Angel Stadium when they did the transformation and they put the fucking Flintstone rocks out there. It went from being a piece of shit to actually being a little bit attractive, but then hadn't been out there in a while.
It's okay.
Okay.
So I will say, people ask me the loudest fans, and certainly Yankee Stadium, old Yankee Stadium, that is. They were fucking nuts. Boston nuts, Chicago nuts. Anaheim in 2002, when they made that run to the World Series, with the Rally Monkey, was as loud as any stadium I've ever heard.
Really?
Fucking crazy, man.
I'd have never guessed that.
Would have never guessed.
Okay.
22, Globe Life Field, Texas Rangers.
This one sort of surprised me when I was reading through here because I was like, that's a new ballpark. It's got a lot of neat stuff like, you know, suites that are on field level and, you know, it's one of the newer turf fields and stuff like that. This one kind of surprised me. So what are your thoughts?
That's too low. I like it. I've been there. I have toured it. I think it's really fucking cool. I kind of think it's one of those situations where it doesn't have a ton of history yet. Although you could say, look, 2 years in a row, the World Series was decided in that ballpark, right?
Yeah.
Because you had I would say 2 years in a row, but you had the COVID year where the Dodgers won,
right,
in that ballpark where they played, and then you had the Rangers win the World Series. I really enjoyed it. I thought they fucking drilled it.
I got you. Cool.
All right, 21, the Rogers Center, Toronto.
You know, they call it the Rogers Center. It still was the Sky Dome back in the day. You can take it or leave it. Out of the AstroTurf fields that I had to play on, it was kind of right there in the middle, so you could take it or leave it.
Other than the third deck bomb I hit there, I kind of feel the same way.
There
Nah.
you go.
Yankee Stadium, number 20. So the
Wow.
Yankees were the
Wow.
first ones to build this $1 billion stadium, right? The grand unveiling, and they had one of the most epic ballparks ever.
Yeah.
Ever, ever,
Yeah.
ever,
Yeah.
ever. Old
Yeah.
Yankee Stadium, the fucking best, for real. The best, right? It was that fucking good. And they tried to recreate it. Meh.
Yeah. I put it this way: I haven't been to the new one, but the old one, when you walked out there to those monuments and shit, it just gave you goosebumps. So
Goosebumps.
I like the old one.
All right, number 19, Progressive Field, Cleveland.
Indians,
I
Cleveland
love it.
Indians.
That was a cool spot. That's where I made my major league debut.
Yeah. Oh, great. Not only that, too, it was a pretty good hitter's ballpark. It wasn't a bad place to hit.
Number 18, and I haven't been there, so it's not fair for me to say, but I probably would put this at the very bottom with the new Comiskey. Lone Depot Park, Miami Marlins.
Oh God.
I haven't been there and I have no desire.
I haven't been there. All I know is every time I see a highlight, they got some sort of like little freaking shit in the outfield. It looks like it's a freaking
There's like a club.
Disney World ride or something like that.
Well, there was this the sculpture, some kind of art sculpture, and
Whatever.
then there was a fucking club in the outfield, like a real club, like a discoteca. Whatever, the place sucks.
Pass.
Number 17, Busch Stadium, St. Louis Cardinals.
Good Lord. I can't believe this one. I mean, first off, Old Bush was completely different because it was turf and all that sort of stuff. Once they put the grass in, it wasn't as hot, and people could really enjoy themselves a little bit more. And you know, St. Louis always has a ton of shit going on. They got promotions every freaking day. So that sort of surprises me. They're down that low.
Number 16, Trias Park, Atlanta. This place looks really cool. It just looks like the fans are right on top of the action.
Okay. I don't know Atlanta. I played in Fulton County and in Turner Stadium, and both of those places were, you know, when you went there, it's like, oh, I want to hit here every day.
Yep. Dalkin Park, Houston Astros, number 15, Thrill. I think this one's too low.
All right, yeah, and then not only that too, this was one of the two that have been renamed. So it used to be Minute Maid for forever,
Mm-hmm.
and now it's Daikin. But yeah, I'm in agreement with you. There's a lot of shit going on. It's only 4 hours from my house, and a lot of my friends go over there and love being in that
Love
ballpark.
it. Love it, bro. I love it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
fucking love it. It's one of my favorite. It's a top 10 for me for sure. I loved playing there. I loved going there as a fan. They have the Crawford box in left field.
yeah,
They have the Crawford beers that I pound when I go there. It's intimate. It's got the retractable roof. It's got the train tracks. Place is cool, man.
yeah.
Really,
No,
really
I
cool.
agree with you. And I think you're right.
All right, number 14. And I would put this one towards the very bottom of my list as well. Comerica Park. How they're at 14, I have no fucking idea.
Yeah, no, Detroit, the old stadium, uh,
That looked cool. I
the
never
old
played.
stadium
That looked
lacked
awesome.
lacked a little luster, but it had so much freaking history that you had to admire it. But the new ballpark, I haven't seen much that I liked out of it. Thank God we won the series there in 2012, but wasn't impressed.
Number 13, Citizens Bank Park, Philadelphia. I will start off Thrill by saying this is as cookie cutter as it gets. Meh.
The only thing I know about it, and I don't know much other than just like everybody else, they sell beer, but it was built to be a hitter's ballpark. That's all I know.
It is. It's a great hitter's park. I like going there and I liked hitting, but I've been there as a fan. It's okay.
I
It's
got you.
along the
I
same
got
lines
you.
as Great America Ballpark.
I got you.
It's just that it's fine. It's
Yeah,
fine.
no, I
Great
get
place
you.
to
I get
hit.
you.
But if I'm not hitting there, there's other places I'd rather take in a game.
There
It,
you go.
it brings me to this one, and I'd much rather be at this one than Citizen Bank Park. Number 12 on the list, Kauffman Stadium, Kansas City.
Kansas City Royals with the fountains in the background and all that sort of stuff. Used to be turf, now it's not. Uh, you get a chance to run out there and see Bobby Witt Jr. every day. Yeah, no, I mean it's a pretty solid ballpark.
All right, number 11 on the list, probably right about where it should be. Cool experience. City Field, the New York Mets.
New York Mets, their new stadium. After coming from Shea, and I've never been there personally, so I'm trusting you on that one.
Target Field, number 10, Minnesota Twins. I've never been there.
Never been there myself. I played in the Metrodome. I understand that this is a little tougher place to hit. Don't know anything about it other than that.
T-Mobile Park, Seattle. Cool ballpark. The retractable roof, cool. Love the city of Seattle. Shitty place to hit. It's number 9. I don't know. It might be a little high for me.
There you go. Next.
Coors Field, number 8. Place is fucking great, man.
Oh, freaking
It's
awesome.
so cool.
Dude, if you're an offensive player, you want to go to Coors Field. And if you're a home player, there's so much shit going on. It's a great place.
Not only that, it's right there downtown. It has the best sunsets in all of baseball.
By
Holy
far.
shit, man.
By far.
Number 7, and this certainly should be in the top 10. Where you put it in the top 10 is up to you. There will be subjectivity and bias because of our audience, the majority of San Francisco Giants fans. Dodger Stadium at number 7.
Dodger Stadium at number 7 got a different allure to it. One of the older stadiums on this list right here. But because they've been, doing pretty well the last few years, they just packing that son of a gun left and right. So, it's still got a lot of fun stuff for the people that go there every day.
Number 6, and this certainly is way up on my list, deserves at least this spot, Petco Park, San Diego.
Oh my goodness! Well, you got quite a bit of history with this because your bride used to be in the Friar Tuck outfit. So that's first off. But then second off, I played in Jack Murphy, which then became Qualcomm, and evidently, when they did Petco, I've never been there, but evidently there was some major upgrades. So it's probably a lot better than what Jack Murphy used to be.
It's so fucking cool, man. The warehouse out in the outfield. It's just, I've been there as a player. I've been there as a fan. I enjoyed hitting there. I enjoyed everything about it. The crowd. Really cool. All right,
Yeah.
number 5. Now we're down to the top 5.
All right, this one right here that you're getting ready to read, I honest to God think that they kind of nailed it on this one.
Fenway Park.
Fenway Park in Boston. I mean, rabid fans, old school, still old seats. You kind of sit there tucked in close to your neighbor. You can rag on the players because they're all right on top of you. Good food and just the history of the game with the wall and the bullpens and center field and all that sort of stuff. It was awesome. I enjoyed playing in Fenway.
Could not agree more. This is too low on my list. Fenway Park deserves to be higher. Number 4, Oriole Park at Camden Yards, the first of the new slash old throwback ballparks. Really cool place to play, a place that you and I both played.
Yeah.
I think it deserves to be in the top 10. I probably wouldn't put it in the top 5, though.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. When it first came out, it was like the darling of the new stadiums, and there's some pretty cool shit there. There's like Boog's Barbecue and There's a lemonade dude that comes around. He gives you the freaking fresh squeezed lemonade in the stands and all that. But yeah, I mean, really a solid stadium as far as playing goes. On those nasty, humid days, not a good place to play. On the nice, cool where the breeze is blowing, good place to play.
Speaking of breeze blowing, number 3,
Oh my God, number 3.
Wrigley Field.
Wrigley Field. It either blows in or it blows out, one way or the other. The Wrigley faithful are exactly that, the Wrigley faithful, and they can make it a little tough on opposing players, but then they also really appreciate good baseball. So for me personally, I enjoyed playing at Wrigley. I'm glad that they have redone their infield. It used to be the fucking worst infield on the place of the planet, but now it's better.
And number 2 on the list here, Thrill. We'll take a lot of pride in this. I'm from the San Francisco Bay Area. You've spent the majority of your career there. Oracle Park.
Oracle Park has been everything. It's been Pac Bell and AT&T, whatever else. Now it's Oracle, but good Lord Almighty! First off, they lead every year in like the green initiatives and all that sort of stuff. They lead every year in like food because they got phenomenal food at the ballpark, and then for a little while there we were putting a pretty damn good product out on the field, and I'm hoping we put a pretty damn good product out on the field this year, and everybody comes out in droves.
Well, 3 World Series in 5 years. I mean, 2010, 2012, 2014. It aesthetically is the most beautiful ballpark in the big leagues. And I don't think anybody can argue with that. The
No,
Bay
and, and,
Ridge in the
and
background.
believe it or not, because not a lot of people get a chance to see it. I get a chance to see it because of what I do for a living. But if you get like up on the suite level, not only can you see the ballpark, but you get a chance to see the bay and the ships and the ferries and the fireboats, and you can look across and see Oakland's old ballpark at the Coliseum and all that. I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous.
It is a special place.
Yeah.
And it's really hard for me because when I drive by Candlestick
Oh.
and
Oh.
still just a pit
Yeah.
and there's nothing there, it breaks my heart.
Yeah.
But as I get closer to Oracle, my heart then starts to warm up.
There
And
you
I'm
go.
like, well, like it's okay because yeah, this was what we lost, but this certainly is what we gained. And then to see the entire area develop with the Warriors and their new arena and some of
Yeah.
the housing, and it just revitalized that section of San Francisco.
When
And
you went, all right, so back in the day, all right, if you left Candlestick and instead of going right and going towards the freeway, if you went left and there was, I forget the road's name, but it followed the bay and it went all the way to where the new ballpark is right now. When you took that drive, it was probably 7 miles. All it was like on top of one another, was dilapidated warehouse after dilapidated warehouse after dilapidated warehouse. They built the ballpark down there, and then since then, as you said, not only you got the Chase Center, you got hospitals, you got doctors' offices, you got all that. All of that whole area has been revitalized, rebuilt. It is a great transformation for the city of San Francisco.
all right, Thrill, that brings us to number
Number
one.
one, and this one surprised me when I first read it. So go ahead.
Well, this is interesting because it's long been known amongst major leaguers as possibly the best ballpark, the most beautiful ballpark, and a fantastic place to play, a very sneaky yet awesome city. Ladies and gentlemen,
we provide you with
PNC Park in Pittsburgh.
Pennsylvania. I wasn't fortunate enough to play there. I played in Three Rivers, which is in the same site as PNC, but evidently PNC has a lot more to offer than Three Rivers did.
Well, look, dude, it's a cool place to play. I certainly enjoyed my time there. Like I said, I loved the city. I always really, there's a sushi spot of all things that I would go to every time I went into Pittsburgh. I loved it. The bridge in the background, the city of Pittsburgh. It's a really cool spot. It's a really cool stadium. Now, that all set, the Pirates have been dog shit for fucking years. And the stadium's really cool. And that muddy ass river or Three Rivers or whatever the fuck it is rolling down there is sweet, but it's not the San Francisco Bay. So, as far as I'm concerned, should Pittsburgh be in the top 5? Yeah, maybe I'd put them about 5, but should they be above Wrigley Field? Fuck no. Should it be above Fenway Park? Fuck no. Should it be above Dodger Stadium? Fuck no. Should it be above Oracle Park? No fucking chance. Take this pick at number 1 and go fuck yourselves.
I love it. I'm in agreement with you. Take Perfect. It and fucking shove it.
That's it. All right, Thrill. Dude, this is the latest we ever got on a show. I don't know how or
why. Look.
We have nothing planned.
This is the latest, but I'm telling you one thing right now. We had so much fun tonight. That's first off. We talked about freaking unbelievable freaking topics. And then everybody in the chat room stayed with us, and they've been staying on top of everything. So freaking great show, dude.
Great show. Fantastic. Austin, Linda, Ted. Yeah, he's bound PNC Park as well. Gerald Contreras. Gerald. Love it, dude.
Hey, and Ryan, this is your first time. Keep coming. Bring your buddies with you. Bring your buddies with you.
So, hey, everyone, thank you. If you're listening on Apple or Spotify, do us a favor. If you could leave a 5-star review, I'm not fucking with you. I saw there's a podcast that's number 1 right now. And so I'm like in the baseball world. And so I listened to it. And it was rough, man. Like, rough's not the right word. I just thought to myself, there's no fucking reason, 0 reason why we shouldn't be on top of all the baseball podcasts. I respect the other ones. I think they're doing a terrific job. Even the one I've listened to, great. But this thing had like 3,000 reviews on it. We have like 88. I'm like, what the? Like, no, let's get the reviews going.
Yeah.
They're under a conglomerate. So I think that's basically what's put them there. But I promise you, please, if you could write a review, if you could leave 5 stars, if you're feeling generous, we would greatly appreciate it. And we're just going to continue to grow this motherfucker.
Hey, another thing too, I just gotta let you know this. Next week, Tuesday, I got invited to go to a Mississippi State game, my alma mater, and so I'll be up there. So we're gonna miss next week, but then we'll come back the following week.
All right, Thrill. Have safe travels out there. Good luck with the knee. Keep it moving. Keep that inflammation down.
You got that right. Tell Tara and the kiddies we said hey, and tell those LTP guys fastball change up.
Fastball change up, baby. All right, Thrill. Have a fantastic couple weeks. And when we come back on, dude, you know what we're gonna have?
Opening day, bro. We can be knocking on the door. We'll be like, game on, Jack. Game on. Here we go.
I love it. All right. For everyone else out there, one last thing. See ya!